Hi, welcome back to another episode of Geekified. It's another big, absolutely huge Disney unit came in. And since Nathan's here, what we want to find out, is it pish or is it not pish? It's Hawkeye. Oh, Hawkeye. Right, we're on episode 3. So this is almost a mid-season. I think it's 7 episodes or 9. So this is a mid-season review that we're doing. We've seen episodes 1, 2, and 3. Some of us are very fresh from it. Some of us watched it yesterday. There's a lot. There's a lot happened. Loads of stuff in it. A lot of change in pace. A lot of change in pretty much everything. And the 3 episodes that we've seen. So, hello, Nathan. How are you?
Good, mate.
And we've only gone and got a new host, haven't we? How you doing, Ryan?
How do you do, guys? Nice to be here. I'm doing good. Ready to talk about this jamble of stuff, man, that's going on.
So, Hawkeye, we're on episode 3. Episode 3, from what I've heard from a lot of different people when they've been discussing it so far, have said that 3 is probably the best of the 2. They've said they really enjoyed 3 and maybe perhaps didn't enjoy 1 and 2. So we'll start off with yourself, Nathan, see how you thought about it. See how your feelings are. If you've got a choice of word that you think maybe perhaps fits what you think of the show. Not that I already know this, folks, but yeah, I'm pretty confident what his word choice will be here. So Nathan, it's over to you.
Pish.
Complete.
Not even just pish, complete and utter pish. If you thought winter twat was bad, this is 14 times worse.
Oh goodness! Please don't say the T word.
This could have been like a really cool, dark, like underworld thriller, and the next thing you know, fucking Hawkeye's doing LARPing in the park. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? You know. And then you got what's her name, Kate Bishop, making stupid wee jokes all the time that aren't funny. Just honestly, the action scenes have been all right, but the rest of it's been atrocious. And then what's this deal with like 1984 Superman music all the time? You know, it's like horrifically the bad score on it as well. It's just like they could have had some really cool music and stuff. It's just really, really bad.
Yeah, so I kind of knew we were talking. So every time we sent Nathan a message in the group, it was referred to as Hawkpish. So I kind of knew this was coming. But I think, yeah, so given a bit of background on Nathan, you don't really have a huge history of comic book stuff. You're only really into the Marvel TV world and film. So obviously everything is very much fresh to you and new. So having someone introduced like Kate Bishop, what did you think about Kate Bishop being introduced?
She was ridiculously shit. Basically. At the start, you got the wee lassie at the start, and she's incredibly annoying to the whole thing. And then she grows up to become even more annoying. You know, it's just like really obvious. Like Marvel's got this obsession with trying to make everything funny. You know, I don't think you need to do that. But yeah, it's not. She's just shit.
Okay, so obviously Nathan enjoyed it. So Ryan, what did you think?
Well, I was watching it. I was trying not to. I've been trying to do this a lot more with things recently. Is trying not to like hate watch them, right, and be ready for a lot of things. But there is some glaring things that annoy me. But I'll start on the good. I do think the character of Kate Bishop's always really annoyed me. I've only interaction with before is in that kind of god awful PlayStation game, but they do the characters all right. And she was really annoying in that. So I was scared she was going to be really annoying in this. But the actress that's doing her, I think, has actually got like a really nice likability to her. And I think she's got things. But I think it has a lot to do with the actress. I think the character would be annoying me otherwise. Do you know what I mean? This kind of I do agree, Nathan, that she was annoying. She's younger. She grew up to be. Do you know what I mean? Just like even her own says, like, "Oh, you are always rich," or always this, and then she's just like destroying bell towers. And she's like, "Oops!" I'm like, "Yo, that's not really." There's a lot of things about her that do annoy me. I don't know exactly. See, it's such a mixed bag. I think the relationship between her and Hawkeye I've got is nice. I think there's a lot of kind of nice things that are going on there. I like the kind of fatherly, annoyed at everything she does, but do you know what I mean? Kind of begrudgingly what to look after and stuff. I think the thing coming through Hawkeye and his family is good. I think, again, a bit later on now, but the scene in the last one when Hawkeye can't really hear, and he's speaking to his son, and she's kind of describing it over. I think that was really good. But yeah, there's a lot of things that are just like, why are Marvel doing this again? I don't know what their obsession is with right now, trying to make some of their characters like so weak. Like try to like so much of the show. I really always quite liked Hawkeye, and I know he's always been a kind of joke, but he's a guy with a bow. But he would joke with that, and he pulled off a lot of cool stuff. And it's like there's some scenes in being awesome cool, but then it's like, yeah, he's doing LARPing and having to be up. He's doing this. He's like falling about. It's like the kind of this thing recently. They want to always undercut the characters that came before. They'd be like, oh, they're idiots now, and they can, everything that's coming next can do everything so much better. And I think it's just a bit of a disservice, man. And it just makes me like, it just makes you go, man, when you're in the middle of an episode.
So obviously, this is your first time on Geekified. You'll be a regular host from now. Give us a little bit about your history of what's your history with comic books? What's your history with film and TV, Marvel TV? What do you watch? What do you listen to? What kind of stuff you into?
So since I was younger, I was never a pure comic hound. Didn't have stacks and stacks, but I did have a different comic season there. And I get back into, I always liked my superheroes and all that kind of stuff, but I get right back into it. I was about 20, back in college, because I had a few friends that like had all the comics and all that, and kind of brought it back into it. So I'm mostly, I suppose, most I've known has been from the films and all that, with sprinklings of remembering, mostly, not even the comic books exactly, but a lot of the animated shows, the real X-Men, Spider-Man, Batman and all that, they were always something. So, and then getting a bit in later life, trying to kind of read the comics a bit more. But when you do see sometimes just what's happening between them, and like, yeah, no, you can still give you kind of pause to be like that, what they do. Or even if it wasn't even just comic books, something just building up the characters and then slicing them down. I don't really I've never understood it to maybe it comes ahead. But yeah, so comic books have always been interested in that. I've always much more liked, I don't know, the kind of anti-hero side of things and stuff, but this is why another reason I kind of like Hawkeye. I thought this was going to go a bit more badass for him. But
yeah.
But as you know myself, they've just been, over the years, been working with ECM and casting agency and everything. We've had different meetings with people in the Scottish industry of comics and all that.
Yeah.
And they've all got a lot to say with these kinds as well. But I don't know, mostly I would need to say just film. The Marvel films and stuff is mostly what I know, with sprinkling into the animations and some comics. So I'm not a diehard, but I do have a lot to say still. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just obviously we like to give a bit of a background because every single person is very different. Like we've basically got a walking, talking encyclopedia of film in Nathan, who has seen more film than all the fucking Odeons in the world put together. But not a huge history on comic books. So Nathan's take on a lot of these shows is always really interesting because he doesn't know any background, he doesn't know any history of characters. Then you've got people like myself and Nick who are big film geeks, but also big comic geeks. So we've watched read a lot of comics before we've come into the MCU. So we've got a kind of history. So it's nice to know where people sit in, because obviously this is an opinion show. This is basically a discussion about these shows, and it's always nice to hear the origin of where people came from. So like go back to Hawkeye. Obviously,
do we have to?
I'll give you my opinion of where I feel, and it's turning into a bit of a standard practice now that if Nathan thinks it's pish, I absolutely love it. So I loved it. I think this is easily the best TV production that Marvel have put together so far.
Loki was so much better.
Oh no, this has got heart. It's got kind of humanity. It's got.
It hurts because it's so pish. It hurts me in my ears and my face.
I do agree with that. I think
it's not. I'll take that back. It's not terrible, but it's just not very good. You know, it's just they could have made such a better. I mean, there's that scene in. I was talking to you about this yesterday, Chris. Where there's that scene in Infinity War when they find Clint and he's in the Ronin outfit in Japan or wherever it is. Yeah, and it's just so cool. And I thought, if you're going to do a Ronin inspired thing, why not make it like that?
Yeah, that's something I can just put in there. That is something that seeing I watched them all at the same time, more or less. I can't remember if it was the first episode or the second, But there's a whole bit where they're explaining kind of when they say about all the stuff that Ronan did, right? How he took that, and I was just thinking, can we see that? Can we see that in the show first? With that would be like so much cooler to see that. Maybe even the Hawkeye thing after it, to then, you know, you understand it, like they're trying to have a bit more, he's getting a bit more humanity, with somebody who sees as like a child figure in that. If we got to see him be this awesome ninja Ronin for a bit and do all the things rather than just passively kind of like referring to them. Do you know what I mean? You can't really, even the thing in Endgame, like you get there, he kills one guy and it's like, oh, I've done all these terrible things. I'm like, have you though? Because I can't really, like, I've seen you do one. You know what I mean? So I would totally agree with that.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. I do agree. I think that would be a really interesting story to tell. But from what we've got in this point of the story, where he is Hawkeye again, and well, he's not Hawkeye, he's not anybody. He's basically trying to cover up the whole Ronin history and the problems that came with it. I think for me, it's been like a fun 1990s buddy movie, like a buddy cop movie. Found having these two on the road, these trick shots, the quirks.
You made Turner and Hooch any day compared to this, Pishman.
Oh God, I think it was absolutely excellent.
That scene was good. I like that. I hadn't seen that. I heard it had already been out on like a preview or something, but that scene with all the trick shot was a bit silly at some points. I was thinking,
yeah, the bubble bit on the car, that burst, it jumped the shark for me in that moment when you had all that purple stuff on the front of the car. That was a bit much. It should have it didn't need to be purple. I can't imagine Hawkeye is literally sitting, going, dyeing everything that he does purple just to have effect. Like, just so everyone knows it's Hawkeye. That's not the type of guy that he is. He's understated. So I think
I do like that, but that's version of Hawkeye, and he has stated that a few times. And he's kind of gone with like the last scene, she draws out the sketch of the old one of that, and he's like, no, not be caught dead in that. He's like, my wife would divorce me, not a chance. I do appreciate her keeping some of that, but I do wish he was kicking more ass rather than getting run about trying to find his hearing aid. Not that I hate the hearing aid thing. I think that's actually pretty cool, but this is what I mean. It's up and down for me every second that I'm liking something. The next minute
I like that. I like the fact that we're showing that this is one of the Avengers, and we're literally seeing how skilled he is on his own, and he's literally got a hearing aid. They're showing that disabilities obviously isn't something that you really have to worry about. And he's showing that
he's human. So like it makes like it's ends on explosions get off. And all that kind of thing.
It's real. It makes it mean like if that happened to a real person, which Hawkeye is, same as Black Widow, they're going to like end up hurting us. I'm sure. I actually probably was. I think I was playing Candy Crush on my phone while I was watching Black Widow. Was that more fucking interesting? But I'm pretty sure that she makes a joke somewhere about her being too old for it in Black Widow and saying that she's sore and all that. I think she says the same thing.
Yeah, no, but I do appreciate it a little bit. I don't know. I think you can still be kind of broken down and getting asked instead of other people always outperforming like that last. And maybe I'm being a bit sensitive to it because it is something that's just been so much. I feel kind of shoved in these days. But like I only realised recently that I don't know. I can't remember what her name is in the show, but it's Echo. She's meant to be the big bad kind of thing. But like when I was watching it, I'd know they didn't really get across right unless I planned on doing it in later episodes that was her and it was kind of her power of being able to kind of like Taskmaster. Do you know what I mean? She's able to kind of, I didn't get that at all. So when I was watching it, and I don't know what it is, but the actress's face, see when she's just going like constantly, and it just doesn't look scary. It looks like a child trying to be like I'm mad at you, and it just annoys me. So then when she came on and she's wiping the floor with Hawkeye, and I was just like, I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling the intimidation for her. But then I went and seen she might have a superpower, which she copies, and I was like, that made more sense, but I didn't get that at all. What we're setting up.
I agree with that. I don't think it was really mirrored because obviously that's why she's called Echo in the comics. She basically can see anything anyone's doing and can copy it. Once it happens to her, if she can look at someone's pace and style and she'll copy it and like any fighting style, exact same as Taskmaster. Let's see Nathan shaking his head.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So I thought the Echo was something to do with sound because she was deaf.
Yeah. So that's what that. I mean, the whole point of Echo is that it's a mirror image, just an echo of what if you fight her, she'll pick up the skill that you're fighting her with within seconds.
I mean, I thought it was just because people were saying pish a lot, it sounded like an echo.
But no, the thing is, I didn't get that at all. They spent a whole good portion of the episode setting up our story and all that, right? They said, but like unless it's something they're planning to show, by the way, it's power she's got maybe in the next episodes. But if they spent all that time setting up, why wouldn't there didn't seem to be any indication of that. I mean, I had to find that out after and be like, all right, she's Echo.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that way, like so. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe again, as I said, maybe it will come in future episodes. But I didn't think it's too good.
I personally think you're right, Ryan. I think it is going to come in future episodes because there's one clue which was what I discussed with you as well. Is that it's one clue of what's coming up in the next 6 episodes. The next 3 episodes is that Uncle. So there's a massive chat about who her uncle actually is. So in the comics, we know who it is. I don't know if Ryan, you're nodding your head. You know who it is.
Yeah, I've got an idea. Yeah.
So in the comic books, her uncle, who basically looks after her after her father dies, is Kingpin. So I am 100%.
I read that Vincent D'Onofrio's in it at some point.
It's nothing's been confirmed, so there's nothing. Okay. So I before we came online to do this, I went onto IMDb and skipped down to see if he was there. He's still not there, so it's definitely unconfirmed. So he's going to have to appear before that happens. And I'll tell you one thing. It gave away a couple of spoilers just seeing who's in the cast list, by the way, so I wouldn't recommend it. And I wouldn't recommend anybody else watching this to look at. It's one of the biggest problems. I'm just going to spew and vent my rage.
Is Batman in this as well? Because you're in every fucking thing else.
Yeah, he pops up at one point. Right. No, my biggest annoyance that I've always said about IMDb is they keep how many episodes the character is going to appear in. So you can easily interpret how many episodes, if a character is going to come back. So if you've seen them for 3 episodes, so a character dies and they're in 4, you know potentially it's going to be a flashback, but usually the flashback is a flashback to something in the first. So you know they're going to come back. So 99% of the time, you know that character is going to come back. I think that's a bit of a heavy spoiler.
Yeah, no, it's the same problem I have with trailers these days, man. I try not to watch trailers or anything because you can just, do you know what I mean? I've always said, I was saying to my friend recently, like he was trying to tell me, I think we were playing Fallout, and he was trying to like give me like, I'm not going to tell you the end, but, and I was like, man, don't, because if you see this, I'm going to be able to work it out. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Same with trailers, you see them everything these days. So yeah, I would suggest as well to keep yourself fresh with them, staying away for anything like that.
Yeah. So IMDb, you need to take your fucking amount of episodes down. It's ridiculous. But yeah. So Vincent D'Onofrio. So he is obviously comes from the world of Daredevil. So that's a Daredevil production that was on Netflix. So I am confident that voice that we heard, where he said something to her when he touched her face, was Vincent D'Onofrio's voice. So it looks like we're going to get Vincent D'Onofrio in it. So what does that mean?
Well, I'm thinking more that opens up.
So that's the multiverse. We're coming into the kind of whole multiverse perspective, or is Daredevil originally set in that world?
Well, this is it, and almost the world was set up for Hawkeye. I could almost imagine Daredevil being that. It's not as grimy, it's not as thing, but it is a different cast site in New York.
Yeah.
But it brings up too many kind of things of what I'm here, what I'm there. Do you know what I mean? Why was you know a big dragon explosion or something under New York and the Defenders and nobody? But have we all seen Venom 2?
Yeah.
You know, right. So just for anybody watching who doesn't, you know, spoilers and stuff, we'll give you 5 seconds for the the end of Venom 2. 3, 2, 1. Right. So it's at the end we see the bit that there's like a flash that the kind of square crystallizing thing, and then Venom and that are in the MCU world, so that they're in like, and you see Spider-Man in the TV, which I'm still not too sure how I feel about. When I seen it, I was like, oh cool, and then thinking after, I was like, it's kind of cheap. But anyway, but like if they're doing it that way, are they going to bring in like a Hawkeye and Kate Bishop going to be going down the street, and is there going to be like a shift, and then, do you know what I mean, Daredevil and Kingpin are all there too, or are they just going to say, yeah, they always have been? I don't know.
I think it's going to be difficult, like it says. If they bring in Vincent D'Onofrio, they're really mixing 2 worlds together. So if we're going to mix those worlds, then you really need to bring in Charlie Cox's Daredevil, because he's obviously present and correct in that universe. So that is Earth 1.
Okay, that's fine. But what about, how come J. Jonah Jameson's the same in all 3 versions of Spider-Man?
Well, this is a question that no one knows.
Is he in the TVA?
He's an interdimensional being.
He's in the TVA. He's in the
TVA. That's a good point. There you go. You heard it here first.
That's a comic book multiverse push, and I came up with it. Fucking hell.
I think you could be right. It could be something along that. There could be a wee sneaky wee bit in it. And then the other worrying thing is he was actually Commissioner Gordon in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So, fit that one in. He's a busy boy.
He's a
busy
boy. That's that universe. It's a totally another conversation, but I don't think that universe get enough. I'm not good at Snyder Cut. I wanted to see how that was going to go, but it's a different conversation.
No, we'll do one on that. Don't worry. So the last bit before we finish the episode, I think, is where are we going to go for the next 3 episodes? What's going to happen, Nathan? Apart from being pish, you're not allowed to use the word pish for the next 5 minutes.
Where am I going to go? I'm going to turn over and watch something different. No, I'm not. I mean, obviously, apparently, I was reading about it today. Her mum's boyfriend is going to be the swordsman who's in the comics, apparently.
Okay.
That's what I read. They're setting that up because all the swords and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if is he a bad guy or a good guy in the
bad
comics?
Guy.
Bad guy. So maybe he'll. I don't know. This is what I'm saying about Marvel. They've got all these really obscure. I mean, a lot of this, the comics and stuff, I've heard of them. I've just not read anything or don't know anything about them. But there's some people in it now. It's just like, who the fuck is this guy? What are you talking about? Swordsman.
Yeah.
See, I quite appreciate that if they do it right. I quite like taking a character that is like, not much, is hardly that, is only maybe get something very niche and then making it cool. Do you know what I mean? But I was kind of hoping with that dad that he wasn't going to be a bad guy. I think it's far too obvious. I was hoping the twist was going to come up that he's actually, he seems like he's going to be a bad guy, but he's actually looking after him. He's pretty cool or something. But he does look like he's just going to be the bad guy. It's like, all right, okay.
Yeah, they look like they're pitching up the mum to be a villain. She just looks bad.
She's got one of those big creepy houses in New York.
Yeah.
And I think that is the dad going to come back at some point? Because you never actually see anything happen to him. And when they'll see the battle in New York at the start, if maybe he's the bad guy that's her uncle or something,
Possibly. I mean, I just saying that, but I'm a sucker for that. I like the other perspectives. So I did think that was done well in the Battle of New York, the perspective scene, like Hawkeye jump off and all that kind of thing. Yeah, see, this is what I mean about the show. I think, especially this one, I was going to say earlier, like Loki and that had a lot more like CGI effects and that, but for some reason, I do feel the production values in this a bit more. I don't know if it's a Christmas setting and stuff like that, but like there is something about it that does feel that old kind of 90s feel, do you know, an old film, and I do like that. I don't know, again, nostalgia, all that.
Yeah,
I know they're playing me, but
I'm
a sucker for it.
It's like a 90s cop movie. It's like a buddy cop movie. It just feels exactly along those lines.
It's fucking macking me from fucking Joey and from Friends. That's what it's like. That's what fucking.
I know you would.
I know you would. I'm sure you don't like it. You just do it to wind me up.
As soon as I came off this, I'm gonna be like, can't believe I needed to say that Hawkeye was fucking good.
Sure. The music's really weird. I think that the music in it's just really weird. It really like caught my attention. It's just like it doesn't really fit properly, and because you're used to like really sort of upbeat, quite modern music, really good song choices, and it's just this really weird like 1980s action movie music in it.
I'm going to be brutally honest and say I can't remember like what the music is.
I'll watch it again and you'll something.
I couldn't point it out in like a thing, but I did notice, I don't know, it did feel like something to the 90s and that kind of Christmas high octane, like not exactly Die Hard's a bit thing, but it has something kind of Die Hardish about it that like jingles in it or something. I don't know exactly, I couldn't point it out, but I did like it. I know they're playing me, I know it's nostalgia stuff, but I'm a sucker for it.
Yeah,
it's not Die Hard, it's Pish Hard, this one.
That's what we'll need, like get you like some kind of sign or something that is just for something for Pish, to leave what button you can hit or something. It just comes up with Pish.
Yeah,
I think this is a record. I think this is a record. This is the most pitches in a review.
Ryan, I think he would. He'd have broken his button by now if he had a Pish button.
We'll give you like how many times you could use it thing.
You've only got 10 uses of the word Pish every episode now.
But with the button so that it comes up, so at least it's got like a good feeling.
Yeah. So predictions for the last 3 episodes? Anything we think's going to happen?
Yeah, it'll still be Pish.
Right, cool.
See, unfortunately, I think it's going to be very like I'll watch it, but I like there's bits I like. The action was good. I like a lot of the setting and stuff, but I don't see anything happening that's going to like change things up or make me really, really invested. I think it's going to go pretty by the numbers. We're going to get Hawkeye sitting in his with his family in the last episode, like, I finally got home, all battered and bruised. Kate Bishop's going to be there with him. There's going to be something to set up this new back. You know what I mean? I can kind of, I'm not too excited, but I'll watch it for the ride. But I think I've got an idea what's going to go.
Yeah.
They're not going to have to bring in Black Widow's sister, because at the end of Black Widow, she's basically hunting Hawkeye, isn't she?
Yeah.
So is that going to come in? Is that going to
Do
link
you want
up?
some spoilers? Do you care about spoilers?
I don't. The other thing I do think, which is the bit when Hawkeye's talking to his wife, is obviously Linda Cardellini.
Yes.
And she sort of sounds like she's in some sort of, she knows what's going on, she understands what's happening. So is she going to get involved somehow as well?
I don't think I know anything about Hawkeye's family being superheroes or anything like that in the comics. I don't think there was any twist to that I know of. Linda Cardellini is a bit of a high actress to be picked for that role, though.
Mm-hmm.
But the spoilers that I do have, which was my clue from IMDb, so if you don't want to know this, then don't look. Florence Pugh is in 3 episodes.
Well, that's the thingy's sister.
Yeah, Yelena Belova. So
Okay,
Yelena Belova will turn up in the next episode.
Who's that? Who's that actor?
Hawkeye's Black Widow's sister.
Oh, right.
Basically the new Black Widow.
Right, okay.
So
Right,
she's marked as being in 3 episodes, and she's obviously, that's only 3 left. So she's going to be in every episode.
I mean, so is Julie Louis-Dreyfus going to be in it as well? Because obviously she's, what's her name?
Yeah,
Madam
so she doesn't appear on the list, but usually she's after credits, which is usually uncredited.
All right.
So I'm assuming she will probably turn up in the after credits at the end of the show.
But, that's setting up that other thing, isn't it? With all the shit versions of superheroes.
Yeah. So what it is, I think, is actually setting up is the Young Avengers. Just last week they were discussing, I think it was Hailee Stienfeld was with Kevin Feige at a conference thing talking about Hawkeye at a meeting, and this happened to pop up on the screen. Basically, Hailee Stienfeld was asked by someone in the audience, so is this setting up the Young Avengers? Hailee Stienfeld turns around and looks square in the eye of Kevin Feige, and Kevin Feige looked square in her eye and just went, as he didn't know what to do. No one knew what to do. So they were kind of caught out. They didn't really answer the question. They bluffed it a bit. But it looks like, obviously, this is going to set up the Young Avengers. We're obviously going to have Kate Bishop. I think this is my prediction. Kate Bishop at the end of this is going to be looking to put together another team, and Hawkeye will probably be the guiding light of it. But obviously from home. I don't think he's going to do it. I think he'll get home safe. And I think he's going to be the kind of AI helping kind of guy putting them together.
So he's going to be Charlie from Charlie's Angels, yeah?
Probably, that's what I think, yeah. I think he's basically going to be, he's going to help out Kate Bishop. He'll be there in spirit, but Kate Bishop's going to be...
I have another theory. I'm probably a complete pish though, right? The dog, it's only got one eye, yeah?
Yeah.
So is that the Kree Samuel L. Jackson?
Oh,
that's what they should
I'm
call
not
it.
even kidding. I'm not even kidding. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it Kree the ones that can change their statuses that are in Marvel?
Yeah, so that's a very, very good point, because obviously we're coming, Secret Invasion. That's coming really, very soon. And what Secret Invasion basically did, if I remember right in the comics, was refer back to a lot of historic stories of points in time in which certain characters weren't actually really that character.
I hate that, man. I'm not up for Secret Invasion. I hate retcon and things like that. It opens up so many holes that you can't fill, man. And I know this whole thing in the comics.
They might not do it. They might obviously keep it to the show, but I think they could. What they're either going to do, I think, is either going to be there, and you're going to have to work out who the aliens were, like conning them for God knows how long, or they're going to set Secret Invasion up, and from that point on, you're going to have to try and work out who's real, who's not.
Yeah, maybe for that point. The only way you could do that, but is if you plan for the very beginning to do it. You can't go back and I don't think I'm doing, oh, by the way, he was actually Kree, so was she, so is this. I think it's just like, you just go, well, no. Why would they do that then? Or why would there was a scene where they were on their own? Why didn't they? Do you know what I mean? Like, it just...
Well, they're kind of talking about it now. They're saying that Doctor Strange in the trailer for Spider-Man is behaving very different and very weird.
That I'm more okay with if he's a Doctor Strange from the Multiverse Disney show kind of thing. That I think could be pretty cool, because he is just, they're saying that it's only been recently, it's not a whole thing. If you're trying to go back years and say, like, in the New York invasion, like the Hulk was actually a Kree. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
I think you're right. I would prefer that as well. I don't want to go back and know that the stories we've watched were Kree. I think it would be good. Secret Invasion, if we just do it and then have from that point on, you're going to have a whole series of Secret Invasion. You could have 10 series of Secret Invasion if you want, the same way they're going to do. But we're not doing Wanda. They're not doing Falcon. What are they going to do then?
Loki.
Oh, Loki season 2. Yeah, totally blanked me. Totally forgot it. Yeah.
And what if's got a second season as well, hasn't it?
Couldn't care less. What if Pish?
I mean, there's a couple, as I said to you before, I think, Chris, like that Doctor Strange episode, I thought was one of the best Marvel things I've seen done in years. That was really, I thought, hit the part. But that Thor episode, the Captain Britain episode, whatever the first one, they were absolutely gash, man. They were the worst. Like, I was like bored to tears watching them. And then the Doctor Strange one was awesome. The one that was a kind of murder mystery. But anyway, get to them. But yeah, I don't know. Season 2. If they've done more truly just anthology things and just look at this, but I don't know if trying to tie it in with all this stuff, and I don't know, bit of a mess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do we know when Blade and stuff is meant to come out?
2023, isn't it, Blade?
Yeah. So he's already in one of the MCU films. He's already appeared. Well, his voice has. I'm not going to spoil anything. Have you seen Eternals?
I'm not bothered.
It's not in that film, though, is it, Chris?
No, I kind of knew. I didn't know where to go with that. I don't know if you could tell. Could you tell?
No, it's okay. I'm not bothered about the Eternals spoilers, so you can tell.
Dude, it's not even a spoiler. It's just an after credit scene. It's not much to it. The after credit scene, you can hear Blade. He talks to one of the characters in it, so he's already kind of made an appearance, and they are casting right now for the rest of the film.
Right. Okay.
So shouldn't be too long. I'm looking forward to that. But,
Blade was one of my first forays into comic books, like on film, and that I fell like in love with, man. So that I'm excited but trepidatious about that very much. But
I was almost going to sue Marvel for copyright because I watched the whole film and Louise Redknapp wasn't even in it.
Oh God. Awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful.
And with that,
name one other person that was in the Eternals or in Eternals.
I've not seen the Eternals yet. I probably should have, but it really does not interest me.
It's better than you think. I wasn't really geared up for it. I thought it looked good. Like the visuals of it was stunning, and I was right. It is. It's a very, very beautiful shot movie. But it was very good. I was surprised.
Yeah,
really enjoyed it.
I mean, I will get it at some point.
Disney Plus in January.
Quite. If you don't want to see it, I wouldn't rush to see it if you're not that interested. But I think it's a very, very good film. Really enjoyed it.
I'm kind of like I love all this Marvel stuff and that, but there's just really nothing these days that's really hooking me. I mean, No Way Home for the pure nostalgia and Tobey Maguire and all that kind of thing. I'm excited about No Way Home. But I'm also prepared to be a bit disappointed by it.
Oh, no, I'm the same.
Not so much in the lineup that I'm like, it used to be I'd look ahead and be like, this is coming out, and this is coming out, and it's just like, I don't know, man.
I know how you feel. It's a bit funny because we don't really have that Avengers thing anymore, where you've got each of them having a film coming out and all coming back together, and then each of them having a film coming out and coming back together. I think that was the kind of best way the way that it worked the last time. But we'll see what happens. There was a lot more coming. So that was Hawkeye mid-season. Obviously, we will do another one of these, hopefully on the day that comes out, which will be another 3 weeks. So you'll see at least us together talking about it to let you know that Nathan thought it was utter pish by the end or just pish. But thank you very much for joining me, Nathan. And thank you very much for your first ever episode, Ryan. Ryan will be back more often. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And we can do this all day. Awesome.